Hi, my name's Nigel Gorski and I'm a chartered accountant practicing in the Bingley area. For those of you who've watched in before, you'll know that I like to produce short videos to tell you about changes that affect my world that may have an impact on your world. Today we're going to talk about some of the highlights of the 2018-19 tax year. Now, thankfully, after all the changes we've seen, there aren't quite so many this year, but nonetheless there are things that I do need to talk to you about. Firstly, the question that everybody asks me is, how much can I earn before I pay tax? The answer is £11,850. For those of you who pay higher rate tax, that's gone up as well, and that's £46,350. Now, what you need to watch out for is if you are claiming child benefit and your salary goes above £50,000, that can be adjusted for some pension contributions, so do check. Then you would need to fill in a tax return to start curtailing that child benefit or disclaim it altogether, and you would need to seek advice or at least have a look at the HMRC website on that. For employing people, there are two things I want to talk to you about. Do check the minimum and living wages, because there have been some pretty high profile cases of companies that have failed to adhere to it, and we really don't want anybody watching this video to be in that trap. Secondly, for those of you paying auto-enrolment pension contributions, they've gone up this year, which you may have already noticed, so do keep an eye on that and factor that into your budgets for employing people. Next one I want to talk about is landlords letting property. You'll note a couple of years ago that there is a new interest rate restriction that has been implemented. So from last year, 25% of the interest that you incurred on your mortgage was only eligible for basic rate tax relief. That's gone to 50%. Now the calculation is a little bit strange in terms of how it impacts it. And it can cause your income to go into higher thresholds than you might imagine. So it's worth getting some advice early about how that is going to impact it and whether it is worth hanging on to your property or not. And finally, for those of you looking at the VAT threshold, that's not going to go up until 2020. So that's been frozen because the whole issue of VAT and the cliff edge taxation is being looked at by a consultation group. So that was a very brief whistle-stop tour of some things that I thought you might be interested in. As always, none of this is advice for you or your business, which you would need to take before acting on anything in this video. But the most important thing is, thank you for listening to it, and if you've got any questions, as always, please get in touch.